I really want to let these cucumbers, my bigger ones, go until tomorrow. It should be my calypso. See the optimum amount of green. Allow the ones that are smaller to continue to produce. If you let them, the bigger ones stay on too long, that would suffer. The smaller fruit will develop much slower and some will begin to drop. Take this leaf off. That ain't adding much to my plant pool here. With that in mind, I guess I'm finna go grab some ice water. Put this in some ice water for a second. I'm gonna go ahead and take those off. It was 1, 2, 3. Nope, it's only 1, 2. Thought it was 3 on here. Take those off, put in some ice water. By tomorrow, honestly, I may have 2 more. That way I can go and start pickling the smaller jar. Yes. With those cucumbers, however, keep that in mind. You see how that's green. If we let it stay on too much longer, the bottom will begin to turn white and it'll begin to lose some of its flavor. Once we do take this off, you can put it in a green bag in the pantry for about a week or so and it'll still stay crisp and firm if it was grown ideally. If you plan on preserving it for long usage, storing it for later, it is best to put it in some ice water if you can. If it does look to exceed that amount of time, I recommend eat it. These produce pretty good. Didn't realize I didn't have any Persian pickled cucumbers. That's my favorite kind. It's not as watery as the Boston is. It's as crispy. One of the crispier varieties. With not having as much water content, it's a sweeter variety as well. It has a snap to it. All right, so we just gonna give our cucumbers a snip. We got our cucumbers off. We're gonna give them a light watering. So with these, we're gonna go cut off these blossom end pieces, and then we're gonna put them in our bath until we're ready to pickle them. Don't want to bruise that before I use it, man. Calm down, bro. So if you see right here, the small end right here where your flower ends at, not the stem part, but the small end where the flower grows from, you'll want to cut no more than 1/4 inch from that end before you soak it in your water or before you brine directly. This is ideal to do that not long after your plant is harvested. I'll just put that in there and let that sit. It allows for our cucumbers to hold for, some people say 72 hours, it's mixed reviews. Some people say up to a week. I don't try to go that long. Honestly, if I harvest a cucumber, I'm really about ready to eat it at that point. So these are black garlic cloves that I'm dehydrating at the moment. We're just gonna add those. We will be adding a 3% brine shortly. This one mustard seed, I'm just go in a little bit of that for our cucumbers. These are some Thai chilies, y'all remember me drying out. I think I'm just do one of those. That was pretty hot. So with this, it's 3%. Gonna do a 3% brine. This is 2.5 cups of water, 3% for this. Using fine sea salt. You wanna use 1.25 tablespoons of salt. If you're using kosher salt, you wanna use 2.5 tablespoons. It is better to weigh out in grams to get an accurate measurement. You want the right amount of salinity once you're doing this brine to make sure it ferments properly and to prevent spoilage. I'll finish building our jar, go get our baby dill at the garden. We're gonna stuff our jar with some of that dill. Baby dill, and we're gonna get ready to get our brine. So with this, you can add sugar if you like. It will cut the taste less pickling, but however, lactic acids feed off sugars to make sour pickles, and too much sugar can alter and speed up the fermentation quicker than needed and also add unwanted yeast. Cucumbers naturally have enough starches and sugars to complete the ferment process. This keeps the vegetables' traditional taste, and keeping sugar out of your ferment allows it to remain keto-friendly, diabetic-friendly, and also doesn't alter the flavor with introduced alcohol from ferment. All right, and we got our pickles. We did add a couple more. Our pickles, remember we cut out that end piece. Try to stay within 1/4 inch. So here are our Calypso cucumbers nicely packed into our jar. A couple more would be better, but right now I ain't got a couple more. We're just gonna pour that brine. We in there, remember 3% brine. This how it look after 1 hour only. Yeah, I give it a couple days. Let the flavor sit in. I'm talking to myself, really. Hey, but y'all stay tuned. We'll give you an update on how it go. In about 3 days or so, we'll take this ferment top off and we're gonna put the lid on. I'm gonna slap it in the fridge. All that flavor.